Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Wellness Way Culture. I will wait till we get a few to join us tonight. We'll see who gets on with us here at 5 o'clock. I've been very excited about this series. I like all the series that we do because it's an opportunity to help educate you guys and equip you with what you need to hopefully navigate this crazy world with all kinds of different supplements and drugs and just things you got to weed through that hopefully give you a better outcome health-wise on the other end. And so without further ado, we want to bring about or start tonight a new series on antibiotics. And as I begin to dive into this and prepare for this, I really kept finding more things we needed to discuss before we really got into the whole topic of antibiotics, because there's, as I just learn more and more, the more I find we've got to be on the same page. Otherwise, we can't really have a true discussion about the topics we're going to be bringing up, because we're going to be coming from two different places. And so, some of you, this is going to challenge your thinking big time, and that's why we want to do it, because the thinking from where you're coming from is continuing to give you the results you keep getting. And for many, that's frustration, and you're not getting any better. And so we want to bring a different approach, particularly the Wellness Way approach in testing and not guessing, but also helping you understand how the body works, how it was designed. And as I began to prepare, this is where it led me. And we just had to get on the same page when it comes to the human body and what potential it has. Good evening, Pete. Thanks for joining. Hope you learn a lot tonight. So, first things first, before we dive in deep to antibiotics, there's a few things that I want to make sure that we can get on the same page. So if you're watching, don't stress out if you can't read this, okay? These notes up here, to some degree, are more for me, so I don't, one, get off topic, two, I don't forget what I want to say, and three, there'll be a few of them that are big enough that you can write some things down. But these videos are always on the Facebook page. You can always come back to them. But we do encourage you guys, if you have questions, if you have comments, please put them in there, because we want to get back to you. We want to help you as much as we can. So if you don't put it down, we don't know what needs you have and how we can help you out. So many of you guys know me. I love the human body. It has unbelievable potential. And as we prepare for this, I wanted to ask you guys the question, can we agree that the body has been wonderfully designed? And if you can read it, you basically have one option to answer, yes or yes. All right. Yes, we have to agree that the body is wonderfully designed. All right. Especially from the perspective where we're going to be coming from. Can we agree that it's been designed for normal function? You've heard me say it many times before. The body has been designed genetically for normal function. And can we agree that it's been given an immune system that has an innate and an adaptive ability to deal with stressors that come from the outside and stressors that ultimately end up coming from the inside? So if we have that viewpoint, that changes everything. But if you come from the viewpoint where the body is imperfect, that it makes mistakes, that it works better if you cut things out, or it works better if you put things in from the outside, then this series and going forward with many are going to challenge your thinking and probably upset you, because there's definitely, if you look at the body, there's too many things that say it's well designed. It has ultimately everything it needs to be functionally well. There's just things that we do to the body that take it away from normal. And we've hit on those many times. We call them our 3 T's: traumas, toxins, and thoughts. So, going forward, to think that the body is imperfect and that it's only going to work better with an outside-in approach, that means drugs to the inside to make it function better, that's ridiculous, all right? So we want to get away from ridiculous. We want to start thinking smart and seeing what this body's capable of doing. So just follow with me, if you will. Let's think about this. So I know many of you have been sick. Right now, there's people who are dealing with flu symptoms. All right? They're not fun. I get that. But just because, let's say you get a cough, you get a fever, Maybe you get some diarrhea. Ask yourself, are those things that mean you're sick? Do those symptoms mean that you're sick, or is that the way the body responds when it's healthy to foreign invaders? What do you think about that? Okay. I know I was brought up thinking that anytime you had a symptom, that meant you were sick. Okay, but I would ask that you question where you've come from and just really think about it. If you get a fever, does that mean you're sick? Okay, look at what we defined in our wellness way approach to inflammation. I'll duplicate this slide in here a little bit because I know it's in there, but it's a good time for it now. We talked about health being about function, 100% function, having all of your body parts working all the time. So if that is the case, a normal functioning body has an immune system that will react to a foreign thing that comes in, and usually bacterially, that's with a fever. So, doesn't necessarily mean that you're sick when you have a fever or a cough or diarrhea. You very well could be functioning on a normal scale. And so when you get something like the flu and your body's reacting in a very healthy way, what do we run out to do? Because we feel bad, we want to go make that pain or discomfort go away. We go interfere by getting some kind of, over-the-counter anti-flu or antiviral, or we'll get something to take the body aches away. All these different things that, again, begin to interfere with that system. Hey, Debbie, thanks for watching. So again, we're not going to try to base a decision on symptoms. They can be helpful, but many times they can lead us astray. We're always going to be more concerned with what's going on with function. All right. I want to stay on track here. So here's my personal opinion and theory as to, why drugs have become, the first choice that people go to. It's a matter of convenience. All right. I know that when you don't feel good, it's inconvenient because you got to miss work, or you got to take your kids out of daycare. You got to take your kids out of school. You can't continue to work out. I mean, there's all these lists of things that become very inconvenient because you don't feel well. But just by going and rushing to an urgent care clinic or going to buy some over-the-counter medications are not going to change your physiology. You can't speed up or slow it down with any of that stuff. Ultimately, what you're doing is interfering with a normal, healthy process of the body. So we've got to get away from this whole mindset of kill, 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 seek and destroy, seek and destroy. All right? That's what the medical approach is. That's what the outside-in approach is. Okay? The wellness way approach, and when we look at the body as being designed for normal function, doesn't it make more sense if we look to support? What can we do to make sure it's functioning normally? I'm a victim of this as well. Even in my own language, I think, maybe you should do this to boost your immune system. And really, are we even doing that at best? Are you really boosting your immune system, or are you trying to supplement or remove stressors to move the body back towards normal? Because ultimately, that's all you can do is get it moving back towards normal. There's, really as I'm going through this and questioning my own verbiage to patients is, I don't think we're going to be boosting your immune system, or we're not going to boost your digestive system to do better than it was designed. It's just eliminating a stressor and allowing it to move back towards normal. And then we let time take over from there. Hey, Jennifer, thanks for joining. So let's keep going here. So again, if your body's responding appropriately to a foreign body, why would you want to take an antibiotic? All right. And we're going to get to some of that in more detail. But again, ask yourself the question. Look at history over the last 50 to 60 years, okay? What have we done? We've spent 50 or 60 plus years interfering with this normal process. What does that look like today? Has heart disease gotten any less over the last 50 or 60 years? Have ear infections got any less over the last 50 or 60 years? Are kids getting more tubes or less tubes in their ears now? Are people having appendix cut out, gallbladders cut out more than 50 or 60 years ago? Is cancer more or less than 50, 60 years ago? I think you guys get the point that we have interfered way too much. And that interference with the drug outside-in approach has just continued to lead to more dysfunction and more unhappy people. I mean, think about it. Not only are we unhappy, now guess what's been made? We have more unhappy drugs that we can take to just kind of hide and cover up all those symptoms. Okay, and we're not interested in that. We're interested in getting to the root cause as to what's interfering with your body's ability to function. Okay, and primarily now we're talking about your immune system. Even Dr. Abbott last week in our cholesterol talk. Let me ask you this. Who here, raise your hand or, type in the description box, put up the little emoji with your hand. Who all of a sudden got a cholesterol problem because you all of a sudden got deficient in your statin drugs? Kind of a silly question, right? Or who here's kid got an ear infection because you ran out of antibiotics and you couldn't keep giving it to them? All right, that's silly. When we put it that way, it's just kind of like, well, that's goofy. Why would we ever do that? Well, again, your body's been thoroughly equipped to handle all this. All right? So it's not about becoming deficient in all of these things because most of them are going to have side effects. All right? People are concerned about their cholesterol getting too high. Well, let's take a drug. Well, guess what? You're going to become deficient now. If you're a man, you're going to become deficient in erections. You're going to become deficient in hormones if you're a female. You're going to become CoQ10 deficient, and you're also going to have a heart problem because now the heart muscle is not working like it's supposed to. Okay? So again, the drugs, they're not the answer. Is there a time and place? You bet. We can talk about that more on our inflammation talk. We give the whole analogy about the whole fireman and carpenter approach because we're not against medical doctors and we're not against drugs. There is definitely a time and a place. What we're against is that always being your first response. And the first response should always be, what's interfering with normal? How can we test for it? How can we remove it and support the body to get back to that normal ability? So hopefully, this has helped kind of bring us in from, a belief standpoint again, that the body was unbelievably designed and equipped to handle stress, especially foreign bodies. So that's why we want to spend a little time on the immune system again before we just dive right into antibiotics. So the immune response is how your body recognizes and defends itself against bacteria, viruses, and other substances that appear foreign or harmful to the body. Okay, and ultimately that's really where we had to focus before we go forward, because this is critical. All right, again, we're not looking to boost anything. We just want to get it back to normal. So again, if we can keep the immune system doing its job, therein lies the question. Why would we want to then put in some type of anti-thing against or killing both good and bad bacteria? Okay, we know alone in the gut, you need a balance of the both good and the bad, if you will. It's all good. There just has to be the proper balance because some of those things can become pathogenic if there is a loss of balance. What leads to a loss of balance? Antibiotic therapy. All right. Case in point, this is an interesting case we had last week. Just went over some foods and stool samples with some clients. And they were, visiting some family, and the family members were sick. And so prophylactically, they decided to go ahead and take antibiotics so that they wouldn't get what their parents had. Now, first of all, number one, whatever doctor prophylactically prescribed antibiotics to them should have his license taken away. As we get to some of our slides down the way here, antibiotics are being prescribed ridiculously too much. And even though the CDC knows it, the doctors know it, they continue to prescribe these, and it's the patients coming in, running the show and telling them, this is what I want, this is what I need. And it's just creating major, major problems. So let me ask you this. How many of you knew that these many different parts of your body were part of the immune system? All right, oftentimes when you just hear immune system, you kind of think one organ, but it's a conglomerate aspect of many parts of the body. You've got a lymphatic system, you've got made of tonsils and adenoids, okay? How many can say they still have these a part of their body? I've had mine removed, unfortunately, so now I'm missing part of my immune system, the thymus gland, the spleen, the appendix. Okay, 50 or 60 years ago, that was one of the most popular surgeries out there. And as time prevailed, there was a lot of cancers that developed within the colon. It's a little piece of sac over here on the right side of your abdomen that holds bacteria in times of need to replenish it. Okay, so nothing was put in your body by accident. I mean, I've heard doctors tell patients that you really didn't need that. Let's just take it out. Or I had a lady today tell me they took her appendix out while they opened her up to take her uterus out for a hysterectomy. They figured, hey, we got you opened up, might as well take that out. Again, once the parts come out, you're never 100%, which means now we've lost all normal function. We can do our best to get back a portion of that, but we need all of these things in order to have maximum function and have our best defense system up. All right? So, Wellness Way, if you guys again remember, what did we talk about before in our inflammation talk? We talk about this health definition from Webster's. It's a condition of wholeness where all the organs function 100% of the time. Sad to say, I don't fit in that category anymore. That changed when I was 4 years old. All right? So I looked up a few statistics as we go forward, and this is all from the CDC. In 2015, approximately 269 million prescriptions of antibiotics were given. So just to give you an idea, in 2016, the population of the United States was 324 million. That's a little frightening. Now, I know not everybody takes antibiotics. So, as this says here, there's enough for 5 out of every 6 people to receive 1 antibiotics prescription each year. So you wonder, why do we have all these crazy bacterial strains against antibiotics, and they keep trying to develop synthetic ones now, and they're getting stronger and stronger, and people keep getting weaker and weaker and weaker. I mean, there are so many books out there now talking about this whole gut-brain connection. And they've got research now that shows you have more nerve communication to the brain from the gut than you have from the brain to the gut. So again, we've got to get out of the mindset of kill, 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 kill. It's about support. It's about get rid of stressors that are causing the body to get away from normal. And again, even while I was giving our talk tonight, I'm thinking even my verbiage has to change. I'm not going to be doing anything to boost your immune system or boost your digestive system. It's about just getting it back to normal, all right? And we want to get away from giving you this supplement or that supplement so that you can boost your immune system or help your digestive system. Honestly, if we just get rid of what's interfering with it, it's going to take care of itself. And this is a huge problem. This is a main reason why so many issues of the human body are not working anymore, because we've killed off all what needs to be symbiotically growing together in the digestive system. And this can be a very challenging part of helping you guys get back towards normal. I mean, your gut is a huge part of your immune system. It's a part of your mood. I mean, depression is at an all-time high because we can't get this right. And it becomes an interference usually early in life, right after the birth. I mean, unfortunately, they're given antibiotics right away. So, but we've got to get, again, on the same page in regards to the body and what's going on. Doc, thanks for joining. Appreciate you. All these conditions included that they were talking about. So what are the reasons people get antibiotics? Acute respiratory conditions, urinary tract infections, miscellaneous bacterial infections, and other conditions. Other acute respiratory conditions, including ear infections, sinus, throat. The list goes on and on, all ending with itis, talking about inflammation. These conditions don't need more drugs. If that was the case, wouldn't we have eradicated everything by now? And is that really what's best for us? All these bacteria just help make us stronger. And in the fine balance that they've been created to be in is what makes us work normal. So again, anytime you interfere, whether it's an over-the-counter medication to affect your kid's fever or to affect their cough, or to make them feel better. Okay, I understand that. We've got 4 kids. We've had kids, all of them have had 104-degree temperature, and they've never been given any drugs. All right, we did take measures that helped kind of bring that down at time because, yeah, 104 is high, and there's just some things you got to be cautious of. But when you begin to interfere and mess with that fever, it's going to bring it down, and you're going to make it spike because the body says, no, we're going to raise it because we're trying to kill something off. So if you've ever wondered why your kid's fever lasts for a week, it's because many of you continue to give them over-the-counter drugs that lower it, and the body says, quit it, we're going up for a reason, quit interfering. And so that sudden spike oftentimes can look like febrile seizures, and then you rush them off to urgent care, and everyone's freaking about having seizures when it really wasn't even a seizure to begin with. It was the body saying, leave me alone, let me do my job. All right? So don't be basing a lot of your decisions out of fear, because that's what you've been taught. There are so many things that you can do to help your kids function normally, live a drug-free life, live a happy life, and stay out of the doctor's office unless it is just absolutely necessary, life and death. Okay? An ear infection is not life and death. Many of you, again, like I stated earlier, you're going because it's inconvenient. You got to take your kid out of daycare, you got to leave your job, and those drugs are not going to speed them up getting there any quicker. Come get them adjusted. Let's figure out, let's test them. Let's figure out why they continue to have fluid on the ears or cough or poor digestion. Okay, we just had 3 kids in today. Mom and dad tested as well. Okay, family of 7, and they averaged almost 30 allergens. The dad had 46. All right, and he's a mess. So there's answers though. And going to get drugs and cover things up, it's just not going to get where you need to be. So where do we go from here, gang? You thought we were talking about antibiotics, and we are, but we had to get on the same page so that we can actually have a discussion regarding where we go from here. So because we know the body is fearfully and wonderfully made, it has a great immune system, a great defense mechanism that's put in within our skin, within your bone marrow, all these organs coming together to work on your behalf as long as we don't interfere with it. But we will take a look at kids and antibiotics. How early is too early to give them? What can you do as an alternative? And what is the wellness way approach? Again, we're not going to be looking to give you ways to do this for that. They're kind of nice to have. Sometimes I'm not available on the weekends or during the week, and it's just nice to have some things that you can turn to help, again, maybe soothe some things and keep your body supported well. And what role does the antibiotics have in the gut, and what does it do to destroy that? And most importantly, I want to know your questions. I want to know your concerns. So, use the comment box to do that. We appreciate your feedback. We love having you guys join us tonight. And even better than that, like and share these messages. Again, you probably couldn't see everything on here, but you can always come back and watch these videos. And we love it when you guys share the videos, because that's how we get the Wellness Way message out. That's how we grow the Wellness Way culture, because ultimately that's what we want. We want a group of like-minded clients that come together knowing you're going to get sound, truthful information. And in my own culture, I have a great field of docs. We have more than 50 Wellness Way doctors across the United States now that we can call upon when we get stuck. I don't have all the answers, but all of these 50 other plus doctors are, testing and looking at labs just like we are on a day-to-day basis, and we share that information because we want to see you guys get well. So continue to join us each week. Hey, Megan, thanks for getting on. We're going to be here on Monday nights at 5. So for this particular series, you can bet next Monday we will be back with part 2 on antibiotics as we begin to go through these questions. And we appreciate, again, your comments. Put them in there so we can give you what you guys not only want but need. All right? Stay warm. Looking forward to Saturday's 51 degrees. And love you guys, and we will see you later on Monday.